Part 2. Instead, it was Cyril who came to find us. When he arrived, Stephanie and I were both at my place. What do you need? Stephanie asked, cutting straight to the point. He hesitated for a moment, glancing at me awkwardly before speaking. Stephanie, you know how Serena and I grew up together. We were each other's first love. Even though we've broken up and gotten back together a few times, there's still something between us. Pausing for a second, he continued. I was wrong to break up with her during our last fight. This time, I want to make things right. I want to confess to her and ask her to get back together. Can you two help me out? If I hadn't experienced what I did in my previous life, I might have laughed in his face and told him outright that Serena loved me, not him, and she would never agree to take him back, so just gave up. But because I had lived through it, I knew the truth. Deep down, Serena still cared for him. They were meant to be together. Of course, that's easy enough to arrange, Stephanie said with an encouraging smile. You two have a history, and it's obvious she hasn't moved on. If you confess, I'm sure it'll work out. Hearing that, a confident smile spread across Cyril's face. When he looked at me, there was a glint of triumph in his eyes, but I didn't think much of it and brushed it aside. 2 days later, Stephanie and Serena's close friends worked out the details for the confession. They decided that the perfect setting would be a countryside trip to watch a fire dancing performance. After all, they said, true feelings reveal themselves in moments of excitement and chaos. When we arrived at the venue, the crowd was massive. Since I wasn't a fan of packed spaces, I planned to wait on the sidelines, but Cyril wouldn't let me off the hook. With the growing crowd, he grabbed my arm and pulled me right into the thick of it. Soon enough, we found ourselves at the very front, where the view of the performance was crystal clear. As the show began, fire erupted into dazzling sparks, lighting up the dark night. Standing too close, Cyril flinched, startled by the flying sparks. Instinctively, he leaned toward Serena for protection. Noticing his discomfort, Serena's lips curved into a playful smile. Linking her arm with his, she teased. You know you're scared of fire. Why would you come up this close? Are you silly? Well, as long as you're here, I'm not afraid of anything, he said, his tone soft and sincere. Her eyes filled with warmth as she held his hand tightly. In that moment, a memory from my past life flooded my mind. I remembered how things were just after Serena and I had gotten together. Back then, I was full of hope for our future. I threw myself into our relationship, handling every little thing around the house to make her feel loved and cared for. I wanted her to feel like she truly belonged, that she had a home. But one night, after she got drunk, I overheard her talking to Cyril. I feel like I have no husband, she said, her voice slurred, but a dad who has to micromanage me. It's so annoying. He drives me crazy. Then laughing softly, she added, but you're different. You know how to give me space. You never make me feel smothered. That memory hit me like a punch in the gut. And before I could dwell on it any longer, chaos erupted nearby. A small dog suddenly darted out of nowhere, sending the crowd into a frenzy. People screamed and stumbled to get out of the way. The commotion jolted me back to reality. Just as the dog charged toward me, I reached out to pull Stephanie back, but before I could, someone shoved me hard from behind. I lost my balance and stumbled over the safety line, finding myself dangerously close to the fired materials. The crowd's shouts and warnings blended into one chaotic roar. Then out of the corner of my eye, I saw a figure running toward me through the crowd. For a brief moment, hope flickered in my chest. Was Serena coming to help me? But no, she rushed past me without hesitation and went straight to Cyril, who had also been pushed past the safety line. What am I even hoping for? I wanted to laugh at myself, but it felt too hollow. All I could feel was the sting of irony. Thankfully, Stephanie appeared just in time. She helped me back over the safety line, supporting me as I limped on an injured ankle. As we stepped away from the crowd, she turned to me, her voice filled with excitement. The confession setup is ready. Let's hurry back and see how it goes. Albion's POV. Stephanie pulled me to the front entrance of the farmhouse inn. Hanging from the love tree by the door were heart-shaped fairy lights, each one shimmering softly in the evening breeze. Among them were tokens of their past, handwritten love letters and photos of the two of them together. Standing beneath the tree, Cyril held a bouquet of pink roses, Serena's favorite. His voice trembled slightly as he poured his heart out to her. Serena froze, clearly caught off guard by the spectacle. The gentle wind brushed past, unsettling my supposedly calm thoughts. I couldn't help but feel that even nature was testifying to the love between them. They were meant to be together. That was the best arrangement for everyone. The crowd around us began to cheer and clap. Their voices echoed in unison. Say yes, say yes. Joining them, I clapped along and shouted, say yes to him. Serena's head snapped toward me, her face a mix of shock and disbelief. Albion, have you lost your mind? I'm your girlfriend. What? Stephanie, who had been quietly watching until now, widened his eyes in disbelief. She's your girlfriend?